Please welcome Nadya, Masha, and Peter. Thank you very much for coming here. I know you were going to go home and you decided to stay. Did you have a good week in LA? I know you were out at the beach, right?
Где-то рядом, как настоящий русский.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Somewhere near the beach, like real Russians.
Right, because it's cold there and you like it here. You know, we have a song here. I wish they all could be California girls. Okay, so let's start with the name, Pussy Riot, because that is by far the greatest name for a band ever. Is that not the greatest? It is. But I'm very curious. Do you know what pussy means in English?
Каждый раз, когда нас ловили в полицейском участке с этим именем, нам приходилось читать долгие лекции, потому что им нравилось слушать название группы.
Every time once we were in a police station, we had to read long lectures about the name because the policemen really enjoyed hearing about it.
А теперь, когда об этом говорят все мировые политики, это в 2 раза приятнее.
And now, when all world politicians are talking about it, it's even more enjoyable.
It's so enjoyable for us because we get to see news anchors like Brian Williams say, Pussy Riot. So you're very popular here in the West. You know, Madonna took your cause up. She wrote Pussy Riot on her back. And I mean, at the dinner yesterday, there was a lot of big stars in Hollywood came out to say hello to you. You're worldwide. But I get the feeling at home, back in Russia, the people don't understand you or as sympathetic as well. Is that true?
Люди понимают, но в достаточно специфическом ключе.
People do understand, but in a sort of bit more specific way.
Дело в том, что у нас есть такие ребята, которые сейчас у вас, в частности, включены в санкционный список, такие как господин Киселев, который обещал превратить вашу страну в радиоактивный пепел.
We have a number of very funny guys. Some of them are in the U.S. sanctions list now. For example, the journalist Kisilov, who is in that list as well, and he promised to turn the United States into radioactive dust.
Да, и вот эти люди полностью оккупировали все наше телевидение, к несчастью, и они из этого телевидения говорят о том, что мы ведьмы.
And these guys basically occupied all of Russia's TV, and from that TV screen they continue saying that we're witches.
И они так говорят уже в течение 2 лет, поэтому гражданам России тяжело не реагировать на подобный стейтмент.
That's what they've been saying for the last 2 years, so for Russian citizens it's sort of hard not to react to that.
Это очень забавный человек, и нам действительно доставляет удовольствие просто его смотреть, потому что, в частности, одной из его, наверное, самых известных шуток было то, что надо сжигать сердца геев.
This journalist, Kisilov, is a very funny guy. A lot of people enjoy his work. For example, one of his more famous jokes is that you had to burn the hearts of gays.
После чего журналист...
Это наша реальность.
What is with the gay hate over there? I mean, Vladimir Putin talks a lot about that. You know, we got to check the gays. And in my experience, anytime someone talks a lot about how we have to get the gays in line, I mean, it turns out that they're really gay themselves. I mean, every time I see a picture of Putin, he's got his shirt off. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, give us a little of the dirt behind the scenes in the Kremlin. Is he a little...
Надо думать, что это так. Но пока что мы не дождались его активного проявления этой стороны.
Well, people think that might be the case, but so far we haven't really seen his active side on that, in that area.
Yeah, same thing with Lindsey Graham here. Do you think Vladimir Putin, in a way, because he's such a tough guy, do you think he secretly admires you because you've shown such grit?
Я думаю, что это может быть, потому что никакой другой человек в России не мог предоставить нам столько экранного времени, сколько предоставил он в тот момент, когда нас снимали в клетке суда.
I think that might be the case because no other man in Russia could give us such massive amounts of screen time as we got once they were filming us in that courtroom.
Do you know that there was a sex strike in the Ukraine, that the women in the Ukraine said that they would not have sex with Russian men No clitoris for Boris. Which I referred to it as a pussy diet last week. Do you think this is an effective means of fighting? Yes.
Можно было что-нибудь серьезнее придумать.
Well, obviously they might have thought of something more serious.
Okay. Well, on the serious side, I know you guys actually did go to prison. I mean, you performed for a while there and it was okay, and then you went to this church and you performed for 40 seconds and they hauled you off and they basically threw you into the gulag. And the great thing about what happened to you after there is that you never gave it an inch. Do you know what the word gangsta means in this country? You guys are gangsta. You know? No, it's true. They never flinched. They said, you can beat me, you can starve me, but I am going to still tell you what an asshole you are. Where do you get that kind of courage? And it must have been very tough for your families, right? Must have been tough for you, Peter.
I was okay, you know, we were outside.
Sure, you were out.
We were outside of the prison camp doing things, supporting, putting up little tents and, you know, doing what we can.
No, I think people don't understand that you are really an honorary member of Pussy Riot. I mean, you really are. I mean, you do a lot for this group, and not just for translating. And how about for the man in the Pussy Riot? Just because he doesn't have a pussy doesn't mean he can't riot.
У нас есть мужчины в группе.
What's
И
that?
он не один такой, у нас есть другие мужчины в группе. И в частности, в последнем нашем клипе,
But we have other men in the group. I'm not the only one like that.
Oh, I didn't know
последний
that.
клип, который называется «Путин научит тебя любить Родину», у нас снимался один человек, который, к несчастью, оказался разбитой головой в результате того, что он снимался в нашем клипе.
For example, in our last video, Putin will teach you how to love the motherland, which was shot in Sochi. We had a guy who finished off after that with his head being broken.
К сожалению, полиция предпочла не заметить этого, и также врачи, которые осматривали его, тоже не нашли ничего необычного в рассеченной голове.
And the police chose not to mention that, and the doctors who checked him thought there was nothing special about a broken, bleeding head.
Но, честно, у нас был совершен целый ряд нападений. Это уже такие вот постоянно повторяющиеся насильственные флешмобы. И раз за разом полиция отказывает в возбуждении уголовного дела.
There were several attacks on us recently. They're like, you know, they're turning into these violent flash mobs. Which
We saw it outside the Olympics, the Cossacks whipping you.
And time after time, the police just refuses to open up a criminal case on that.
Well,
И это действительно очень страшный тренд в России, потому что быть правозащитниками опасно. Не только политикам, но и правозащитниками.
And this is a really worrying trend in Russia, because to be a human rights worker, not just a politician, but also to do human rights, is becoming really dangerous.
and this is something else I admire about you so much. I mean, you probably could get asylum here in the West or in a lot of different countries. I mean, you're hot in the industry. We'd love you here in Hollywood, but you choose to go back to Russia. Why do you go back?
У нас много дел там.
There are a lot of stuff to do down there.
Можно задать встречный вопрос, а почему Путин не уходит?
And then you can ask the other question, why doesn't Putin leave?
Well, but he's very popular from what we read here in the West. I don't know if that's true, but you know, it's always been said that Russia needs a strong man. You know, you had the czars, and then you got rid of them for communism. But communism was just really another czar. Stalin was another czar, and you got rid of communism for democracy, and you wound up with Putin, kind of just another czar. Is that something in the Russian psyche that they need a strong man?
Вообще, надо сказать, что Путин сделал нам достаточно большой подарок, поместив нас в тюрьму.
It should be said that Putin sort of gave us a big gift by placing us in prison.
Потому что мы провели 2 года в изучении того, что такое русский народ.
Because for 2 years we've been defining and exploring what the Russian nation really was.
И теперь нас уже никто не сможет упрекнуть в том, что мы далеки от людей.
Right now nobody can say like, you know, oh, you're far from the people.
Right.
И мы поняли то, что люди глубоко скрывают в себе оппозиционность, которая у них есть, потому что они не знают, каким языком ее выразить.
And we really understood that, people try to cover up the opposition and the protest feelings they have because they just don't know what's the right language to phrase it in.
Им предлагается только один язык, который идет со стороны государственной пропаганды.
The only choice they have is the language of government propaganda.
И это такая сложная, фрустрирующая ситуация. Примерно такая же ситуация, с которой Фрейд работал в Австрии.
And this gets really frustrating, and it's a situation with which Freud was working back in Austria.
Right. Craziness, yes.
И
Well,
в частности о гомосексуализме.
So turning to homosexuality.
We are.
Примерно 70% населения колонии абсолютно не против гомосексуальных отношений. Если они напрямую в них не состоят, то они претендуют на них.
So I'd say that around 70% of prison population is not against homosexual relations. If they're not doing it, they're not against it.
Нигде женщины не красятся так ярко, как в тюрьме.
Nowhere do women have such bright makeup as in prison.
Потому что они хотят понравиться.
Because they want to be liked.
Right. Well, in prison.
Да. И
People are for
несмотря на достаточно долгую...
That's everywhere in the world. But I just want to say to you guys, our president, Barack Obama, we have a black ninja president. When he was running in 2008, one of his big lines in his speech, he would always say, we are waiting for change in this country. And we are wondering who is going to bring it to us. And then he would say, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. I think in Russia, you are the ones they've been waiting for. Good luck back there. Stay out of prison. A great pleasure. Thank you so much. Peter, thank you so much. All right, Pussy Riot, everybody.